This is the incredible country of northern Cyprus. So it's getting worse and worse, like very intense wind. I would not be out there driving at this point. Is this like a metacane that I didn't know about, a Mediterranean hurricane? This is so bizarre, especially for this time of year. Hi there, good morning. This is the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, also just called Northern Cyprus, or the TRNC rental car right here. 52 euros or $56 per day. I just stayed at a hotel right across there for the past 2 nights. Yesterday explored the Karpaz Peninsula here, out that way. I am now heading to Famagusta, one of the main cities here in northern Cyprus. I have a hotel reserved there for the next 2 nights. So just getting the exploring started. Wow, this one is open as well. So these are obviously very, very old churches. Oh man, just incredible, dripping with history. And what have we got here? A stairwell, a tunnel going down. How far does that go down? I cannot see very far, but I have to get my phone and shine some light on that and just get an idea at least of where that's going. Obviously like a cellar or something like that, but look at the incredible decorations, all the images of Jesus and Mary and knights and saints and angels and perhaps some other historical figures. And for this just to be wide open like this, not every church is unlocked, that's for sure, as you explore around this Muslim country, of course, primarily Turkish speaking, a disputed country claimed by the Republic of Cyprus, the Greek speaking area in the south, divided in 1974 as a result of a conflict at that time in which sadly basically all of the Greek people in the north moved to the south, all of the Turkish people in the south moved to the north. Almost 50 years ago now. And so northern Cyprus then is now more than 90% Turkish-speaking Muslims, but it is great to see that at least there are churches that are still intact and even have their various symbols and images, etc., inside them. And so I'm so curious about the different time frame of these two very different looking churches. This one looks a lot newer, but still quite old, clearly. I love the style of construction. Okay, let's grab my phone, do a very quick poke down into that staircase, and despite the spookiness, see where it goes. Okay, let's find out. Looks like it doesn't go very far. No, okay. This is a small little space, I guess you can't really see, with, oh, some water. Strange. Stairs going down to right there. So is this like originally intended to be kind of a little well cistern, something like that? Or is it just rainwater that's collected over the years? Who knows? Another image there, it looks like, of Jesus, and then just some random rocks lying around. So, it's kind of hard to figure out what the intended purpose of this was, considering it's so small. Maybe just kind of a storage space, or yeah, perhaps water collection. Okay, let's get cruising. So the plan for today is to stop at Kantara Castle along the way to Famagusta, and then just see what else we see along the way, which I'm sure will be some interesting things. Perhaps jump in that lovely looking Mediterranean water at some point, and get to Famagusta and show what it is like. It is supposed to be one of the prettiest towns in northern Cyprus. So let's do it. Here we go. Another day road tripping in northern Cyprus. So when I drove here 2 days ago, arrived in the evening, I was driving along here and saw this doorway in the cliff that I was curious to check out. So we are now checking that out. Looks like it is probably nothing too special, like maybe just a storage space or something, but it is quite intriguing because it is really just a doorway in the cliff. You can see it right there. And then, what is this? That is definitely a ruined building. Rebar sticking out of concrete there. Not the nicest beaches here. Lots of garbage there, lots of seaweed. But there are definitely nicer beaches on the island, as I showed in the last video going up the Karpaz Peninsula. Found some good ones. Yeah, this thing is very, very interesting. This is a full-on carved out cave by the looks of it. So is this a whole other era of history from those churches, looking very Cappadocia-like? Looks like it's a very small one. Okay, this is pretty clearly a tomb, I would say. Very, very small. Yeah, it's like room for, 4 coffins, I guess. That is my best guess on this one. All right, let's keep on cruising, make some progress over to Kantara Castle, about an hour's drive away, and then Famagusta is another hour's drive past that. Okay. I've seen another something that I just might have to investigate. I can't quite tell if those are human carved remains of buildings. Right there. That looks quite interesting. Okay, let's take a quick look at that. So here you have the remains of a building. I'm going to guess that the blocks were taken down from this to create some of the rock walls around here along the edge of this field. And then up ahead, this looks very intriguing. Still not certain if it is just a natural geological phenomenon or human created, but based on what I was seeing, I think there's going to be evidence of human creation of this area up ahead. So this right here, look at this. Definitely human carved out, I'm sure. This is totally out of sync with the rest of the surroundings, all these square angles and then spaces for, you know, living spaces. Looks like maybe a little village kind of, in which case this one has got to be super duper old. Look at all these carved out areas. This is really wild. You know, that groove, you can see. Okay, maybe this was a quarry. I think that is actually perhaps the more likely explanation. Those clued me in. That is a way that they break the rocks, as they get, you know, metal bars or whatever down in there and then pry it open or something like that. Yeah, all these random yet uniform at the same time. You know, that doesn't look like the floor of a building, or they would have made it more flat. So, yeah, I'm guessing an ancient rock quarry. And I would guess pretty darn old. The evidence of human settlement here, well, I'm not sure about the absolute first people, but after the Trojan War in around 1300 BC, then soldiers from the war came here afterwards and settled. So, I'm not saying that's from 1300 BC, but could be certainly sometime BC. Okay, let's get going, make some progress. The flag of Turkey. The flag of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. You pretty much always see them side by side. So, guess what I just randomly saw on the side of the road. See you in a second. So I almost drove right past this. Happened to see this sign, Basilica, almost hidden in the trees here, especially coming from that way. Looked over at the sign and saw that. Oh, merhaba. Hello. Okay, €2. I have to go to my car and get some money. Okay. But look at that. Boom. I'm not sure if they're Greek or Roman, but definitely one or the other. Okay. A little bit of a trek back to my car. I thought it was just wide open and free. Mosaics of Hagia Triada Basilica. So this is a Christian site from the early 5th century AD. I haven't yet figured out if it is late Roman or Byzantine. The complex of the early Christian Basilica of Hagia Trias is situated in the locality Optomilia. The fortuitous discovery of part of the mosaic floor, so we're going to see some mosaics, in 1957 generated the interest of an archaeological investigation. And then he gave me this pamphlet which says it was destroyed by Arab raids toward the middle of the 7th century AD, and a small church with some additional buildings were constructed to the south of the basilica. The basilica was never used again, as these additional buildings were also destroyed in the 9th to 10th centuries AD. The mosaic-covered floor of the basilica was decorated with geometrical patterns, leaves, cross, and other Christian symbols. It is written on the tablet over the mosaics that the mosaics were made by Heracleos, who was one of the assistants of the priest, Heracleos. So I'm trying to remember, is Heracles a Greek or Roman god? I forget. But basically it is the same god in both ancient Greece and ancient Rome with different names. Anyways, look at these amazing mosaics. What an amazing and incredibly historic site to be just middle of nowhere, nobody else here. Absolutely amazing mosaics. Wow, look at the patterns. To think that I very nearly just drove past this. This mosaic is what is absolutely phenomenal. The different symbols, designs, patterns. It's like a, not exactly an infinity symbol. The two like ovals that are intertwined with one another. All this symbolism. Here you have what looks like a chess or a checkers board, and then diagonal stripes and a circle cut into 4 quarters. This one really complex. How many different symbols do we have there? So there are, whoa, that thing is so weird. There's a square and 2 oblong ovals. Yeah, I think 3 shapes all intertwined with one another. Unreal. What a piece of history here. So maybe it can't really be separated out as being late Roman versus early Byzantine, because during that time period they were really kind of merging into each other the capital city changed from Rome to Constantinople right around that time. I guess you could say, you know, Greco-Roman here. Wow, and even more. This is the apex of the mosaic there, that circle with like a star in the middle. Clover. Absolutely just mind-blowing. It would really help to see a letter, whether it's in ancient Greek or in Latin. My best guess is more Greek. Very likely the residents around here could have spoken both, at least some of them, but we're certainly more firmly in Greek territory. But no writing anywhere so far. All we need is like one letter. Well, actually, Latin and Greek have similar letters. Some of them are the same, so I would need more than one letter to confirm, well, depending on which letter. Come on, gotta be one. Interesting X through a square. The original phase of the complex is dated on the first half of the 5th century based on a coin, Byzantine Emperor Honorius, 395 to 425, so Byzantine. So that is more Greek than Roman, although they also called themselves Romans, and it was the Eastern Roman Empire. So the question is, what was the first language of most of the people here? I would guess probably Greek. So hopefully it's obvious, but the reason why these are still colorful is because they are colored stones used, not paint. Man, what a just unreal thing to just come across on the side of a little country road with almost no notice, just a little sign hidden in the trees. Oh man, this has just really blown me away. But no writing. That's kind of unusual. I mean, usually there are columns, pillars, blocks, whatever, something with some writing on it. But perhaps it is partly because of it being a church and just the religious element of it, that they just wanted symbols and no words or something like that. Take another look at the mosaic on this side. Very different patterns here, one big design, and then totally different here. What does it all mean? I mean, maybe, you know, this is kind of the writing in some sense of whatever all of this symbolizes. So are those leaves or hearts? Very interesting. So I was thinking yesterday that I had not heard the azan, the call to prayer, once in my entire time here in northern Cyprus, which is of course majority Muslim. You see the mosques, the minarets sticking up. I spent 3 days in Kyrenia or Girne and 2 nights here. So I've been here for 5 days, and I'm pretty sure that I never heard it in Kyrenia, despite the fact that there was a mosque very close to my hotel. So I was thinking that maybe they don't blast the call to prayer here as just kind of a sort of less strict Muslim culture or something like that. I still don't know the answer on that, but you know, I would have noticed if I'd heard the call to prayer going 5 times a day for 3 days in Kyrenia. And here, a much more recent church, but of course, it would have to be older than 1974. So pretty interesting to have a church, well, also a mosque right near that church, but then just down the road from a 1600-year-old church. Just incredible. So I'm still trying to figure out which way to go. As I mentioned in previous videos, then Google Maps isn't fully working for me. I can see where I am on the map, but it doesn't give me directions and tell me where to go, so it's a little tricky. But this town, wherever I am, is so interesting. Look at that dramatic mosque, double minaret. Ditlevsen is the town that I went to yesterday in the opposite direction up the Karpaz Peninsula is where we are here. And so what is that building there? A series of buildings. I can't stop at them all, even though I'm tempted. So I'm back on track on the main road. That is the church that I stopped at on my way driving out here. And driving into some ominous looking clouds there. Time to make some miles, we got a ways to go. A little change in the weather. It was hot and sunny just a few minutes ago. My windshield was really dirty, so in that regard, it's kind of a blessing. I'm sure water is needed around here. But the question is, should I still go tour a castle in the rain? I have a little time to think about it and see if this passes or gets stronger. Things are getting crazy. Oh man, I did not expect this today. Hadn't checked the weather forecast because, you know, it's usually just all sunny around here. Insane. Man, what a change. I'm glad that I got my adventuring in while I could. Insanity. This is like almost undrivable conditions. So I decided that this was a good point to stop and have lunch. I have my bag of stuff that I bought at that market, most of which I haven't touched. Actually, I think that I haven't touched any of the food other than just the juice and some beers. Not gonna drink the beers, obviously. But got this thing still. It's all fully packaged, so should be still good. And then the cheese, and then crackers and cookies, water, juice. So it's getting worse and worse, like very intense wind. I would not be out there driving at this point. Is this like a Medicane that I didn't know about? A Mediterranean hurricane? This is so bizarre, especially for this time of year. Man, I wonder how this is going to affect my driving plans for today. It isn't all that much further to Famagusta if I just go straight instead of going up to the castle, which was going to be out of the way. But I can't even get out there in this at this point. Unreal. Look at this guy's pulling over. I have a good feeling about this thing. I think it is going to be really tasty. It says tahini. If that means tahini, tahini is one of my favorites. It looks like really packed with flavor. Oh man, that is really, really good. And cheese and crackers. Nothing too special, but you kind of can't fail. Those crackers are quite tasteless, but it does the job.